principal, teachers and my dear friends. Good day to you all. Today our Shahinsha is here to welcome you to all in this exciting event. On this exciting event, our school is conducting a General Assembly of UN. The main agenda for this UN meeting is war between Russia and Ukraine. So let's start, and once again I welcome you in this meeting, and I hope you will enjoy the program over the meeting. Thank you.
I declare open the session of the General Assembly. Before proceeding further, I would like to remind the measures that are in place for this meeting. The size of a delegation from member states, observer states, and the European Union should not exceed 4 people, and for other observers, 1 person in this hall. We can now begin the roll call. Delegates are to remember that if they state themselves as present and voting, they cannot abstain from voting procedures. Whereas, if they state themselves as present, they can abstain from voting procedures. We can now start the roll call. Australia, Belarus, Belgium, Canada, China, Denmark, France, India, North Korea, Poland, Russia, Ukraine, United Kingdom, United States of America. Seeing that there are 14 delegates present, the simple majority will be set at 8 and the two-third majority will be set at 10. Is there a motion in setting the speaking time? Yes, delegate from Belarus.
Delegate from Belarus, speaking at the motion time is 2 minutes.
Thank you, delegate. The speaking time is set to be 2 minutes. We now turn to the adoption of the agenda. The provisional agenda of this session is said to be the Russia and Ukraine crisis due to its increasing tension. May I take it that the Assembly wishes to adopt the agenda proposed by the Chair? I see no objection, hence it is so decided. I will now deliver my remarks on the agenda. Distinguished delegates, we are all gravely concerned about the fast-deteriorating situation and the military offenses in the Ukraine, and the military offenses by the Russian Federation is a violation of integrity and sovereignty of Ukraine and is inconvenient to the charters of the United Nations. It is imperative that we act on the behalf of the children, men, and women stuck in the crossfire. If the war continues, the humanitarian consequences on the civilian population will be devastating. My dear friends, there are no winners in wars, but countless lives are torn apart. The strength of this assembly is rooted to its moral authority. Let us all demonstrate this moral courage by using today's meeting to not whip up war, rhetoric, but to give the chance peace. Guns are better off not it. Let peace prevail. I thank you. Are there any points of motion at this time? Yes, delegate from United Kingdom.
Delegate from United Kingdom. Delegate from United Kingdom, motions for the debate agenda.
Thank you, delegate. The motion is in order. All those in the favor of the motion, please raise your placards. Thank you, delegates. All those who oppose the motion, please raise your placards. Thank you. The motion clearly passes. A debate will be held on whether Russia's military action in Ukraine are justified. All those who wish to be added to the speakers list, please raise your placards now. Thank you. Are there speakers for and against the motion? Those who wish to speak for the motion, please raise your placards now. Thank you, delegates. Since the ongoing situation is in Ukraine, delegate from Ukraine will be our first speaker. Is there anyone who wishes to speak against the motion? Thank you. Delegate from Ukraine, you are now recognized for 2 minutes.
Many residents and fellow delegates, thank you. A great honor of speaking to you. Today, our modern country, Ukraine, only wanted to join NATO due to existing problem with Russia. Few years ago, the Tokura part of the land premiers the world. Belgium knows the most of our income come from this place, as it has abundant supply of oil, which is most likely tonight or not liked by the Russian government. English has implemented many sanctions to Russia was slightly affected, but it was immensely helpful. I would love to thank you for this art. Russia has started sky attack on Ukraine as well as the most powerful nuclear posture, everything that is happening due to Russia's aggression. And that is destroying the lives of our people and also became threat to the entire people in our streets, people across the globe, and also people through other countries like English, Farms Germany and India provided us many aiding facilities of food, weapon, etc. But on the same side, India, Germany and other countries started to buy oil from Russia, meaning their own benefit offered by Russia, but did not think about the life that has been lost during the fight. It is often said that unconstitutional return would aid unpromised if the return breeds sense of omnipotence. If the world has punished Russia for what it did in 2014, none of the horrors of Ukraine invention in 2022. 8 years has passed and justice has long been restored. And never knows how many new strategies will Russia create or has created. Dear friends, the geographical distance between us and Indians of thousands of kilometers. Geographically, it means nothing, only humanities matter. The dream to fulfilling toward the peace of life. The dream will be fulfilled definitely and together. Thank you, delegate from Ukraine.
Delegate from Russia, you may now have the floor.
Madam President and further delegates, thank you for giving me the honor to speak amidst you today. The Russia-Ukraine war is a crisis continuing from 2014 after the Ukrainian Revolution. So this will be an ongoing issue. In January 2021, Ukraine President Zelensky urged US President Joe Biden to make Ukraine join NATO. This angered us, and we started sending troops to the Russian-Ukraine border from last spring. Our President, Mr. Putin, is controlling this conflict as one place with the West. He argued that the West introduced a springboard to Ukraine so that they can use it to destroy us. This would make us strike back and rightfully take back our part of our Europe that we had. We have been claiming that Russia and Ukraine have been one brother nation, so we shouldn't be in charge of the 24 February 2022 invasion. We have been patiently trying to come up with an agreement with the leading Atlantic or NATO allies, but they just don't seem to approve and continue to spread their dominance that protests us concern. The joining of Ukraine in NATO will allow them to destroy us because that's their only sole goal. For us in Russia, it's a map of life and death, a map of a historical future for a nation. This conflict has been building up from the Cold War and will, if not replenished now, will be continued as violence in the future. Thank you all.
Delegate from China, you may now have the floor.
Madam President and fellow delegates, thank you for the great honor of speaking to you today. The Russia-Ukraine war had made it to all the headlines. As we are aware of the current situation, we are definitely taken aback by this war. But we have remained silent, all among us. We are one among the 5 communist countries. We are customary to stay neutral, so we neither promote for peace nor support for war. But we can make one thing clear. We will not count down the sanctions made to Russia by the Western countries, especially USA. But we can make one thing clear. We will not count down the sanctions made to Russia by the Western countries, especially USA. The Russia-Ukraine war had been seen an external case to death with atmosphere, just like the pandemic. Thank you.
Delegate from United States of America, you may now have the floor.
Madam President and esteemed delegate, thank you for the great honor of speaking to you today. Today we call on Russia to respect sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine. We call on other neighbor of Ukraine who just here to stop supporting the war and to stop allowing its territorial to be used to facilitate this aggression. And today we stand together in holding Russia accountable for its violation of international law and to address the horrific human rights and humanitarian crisis unfolding before our eyes. As the Security Council discussed, peace Putin declared, while Ukraine has defended itself with a great coverage and while Russia has bombed resistance in apartment buildings, scared burial ground. It has the shell in the gardens and nation of hospital. Russia has created a mass hunger and caused so many to flee their home. It is nearly 1 million of people. We thank to the countries who have opened their borders, opened their hearts and opened their homes to these fleeing Ukraine. The truth is that this war was one man choice and one man along President Britain, United States are choosing to stand with Ukrainian people. We are choosing Russia accountable for its action. Thank you.
Delegate from United Kingdoms, you may now have the floor.
Madam President, thank you for the great honor of speaking to you today. The major countries have decided to maximize the atomic pressure on Russia, so they are protecting people's aggressive activities, and this must include the world's collective dependence on Russian oil and gases, which has served to empower Russia for too long. The countries that together comprises about the half of the world's economy are engaged in mechanizing economic profession on Russia. The UK is announcing the world's largest and the most severe package of sanctions that Russia has ever seen. Many sanctions have already been brought on Russian dice. Although the concept of United States, we are imposing the fuel as fees on VTD and the traditional bank of pressure. Broadly, these pounds will enable us to exclude Russian banks from the financial system and accessing, selling and clearing payments to the UK. Fees on hundreds of new entities, individuals and major manufacturers that support Russia. We also introduce trade restriction on total imports and exports and aeroflow of official airlines of Russia. Thank you.
Is there a motion on the floor to close the debate? Yes, delegate from Poland.
Delegate from Poland, motion for the end of the debate.
Thank you, delegate. All those in the favor of the motion, please raise your placards now. Thank you. All those who oppose the motion, please raise your placards. Thank you. The motion clearly passes. We may now start the moderate caucus. Delegate from Canada, you are now recognized for 2 minutes.
Mr. President and my distinguished benevolence, thank you for giving me a honor of speaking to you today. Canada urges all membership to strongly condemn Russia's action and award in the favor of the revolution that is leading. Before the SMP, Russia was bombing civilian properties such as homes, apartments, schools, hospitals, and kindergartens, which are violations under the humanitarian law. Mr. President, I would directly like to talk to the brave people and the President of Ukraine. Our support is for Ukraine, for your country, for your democracy, and for your own right to choose your own future in Ukraine. For this, we need to talk to President Putin. To stop this war, to stop it before there is more pain and hardship. Let's make it a time of diplomacy and negotiation. Mr. President, we need to stand up for the Untitled Chapter and feel the threat and pain caused by this war of aggression. It belongs to us. We have to take decisions and sign this movement of democracy, this movement of justice, this movement of accountability we hit together. Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Delegate from India, you may now have the floor.
Vice President and fellow delegate from India, there is a concern about ongoing conflict and humanitarian situation, immediate cessation of hostilities and violence, equal opportunity to collect coordination and condemning Russia at the same time. We understand our position and the crisis and the Prime Minister's attention from the Indo-Pacific region. When the Prime Minister has spoken twice to the Russian President and twice to the European President, it shows that different studies issue. India was not in the business of contamination but business of creating when the solution can be found. Thank you for giving me the opportunity of speak. Thank you.
Delegate from Denmark, you may now have the floor.
Madam President and distinguished delegate, thank you for the great honor to speaking to you today. Mr. President, the great height of 24 February on the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. The people are watching them with a horror tragedy unfolding in Ukraine. We are stuck within them and for their cities, for their homes, for their freedom and for their future. Russian leadership with a brutal armed attack is in clear violation of Ukraine territory and within its internationally recognized border. On this day until peace prevails, every Ukraine safety return to their homes with their stand with their Ukraine. We call on Russia to stop the withdrawal of all its forces to Ukraine and return remotely to the path of Ukraine on the purposes and the principle of human mercy. The matter is now in the hand of General Assembly, where one region cannot be overruled in the human membership. If Russia starts fighting, there will be no more war. And if the crime will stop the fighting, there will be no more Ukraine. This is simple reality before us. The world will hold Russia and Belarus accountable for their action. If so, Belarus is enabler. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. Thank you, President.
Delegate from North Korea, you're now recognized for 2 minutes.
Madam President and fellow delegates, thank you for great and our speaking to you today. We have been watching the war that is going between Russia and Ukraine. North Korea has been focused on its country's protection for a past few months. Russia is underly settled many underground cities has been found making weapons in Ukraine, which is under the control of US. Main point is that if we are suffered, if we don't have cars, Russia is one of the old lost to international friends and wars. Eventually became irradiant. Russia is long as a line against any pressure nuclear on North Korea, even asking for relief from international monetary institutions. North Korea is also important ally, has also claimed. US and Western ally helping up the Ukraine friendship. Thank you.
Delegate from Belgium, you may now have the floor.
Madam President and fellow delegates, thank you for great honor of speaking to you today. Belgium strongly commends the Russian attack on the Ukraine. This is Europe's darkest hour during the Second World War. The Russian aggression is unnecessary and untouched the mind and the heart of the people of Ukraine. We have decided to close the Russian airlines and Western ransom. Our president says that the European sites are the open sites for those who handle people, not for those who seek the barge. Our president also said Belgium is an idle country and default of EU. It has 25,000 mission guys and 200 anti-tanks. We have to exclaim EU integration after the war. Thank you.
Now we will move on to the voting procedures of the draft resolution, which proposes the withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukraine. Due to the voting procedures, the door will be closed and no one can enter or exit during the procedures. Delegates who have stated themselves as present and voting are to remember that they cannot abstain from voting procedures. The result of the vote is as follows: 10 in favor, 2 against, and 2 abstentions. The recognition proposing the withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukraine is hereby adopted. The General Assembly has concluded and the meeting is dismissed. Thank you.